to That Show with Matt Giles. I'm your host, Wileyford B. Hayes. Hey, if you like this show, or if you like Tim's Live, which we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, click that follow button. It's right there. Or maybe it's right there. It's over there. I forget where it's at. But hey, click that follow button. Our goal is, we're halfway to our goal. We need 8 more people to click that follow button this week. So do it. It'll be great. I promise. Super rewarding, fun content. This is That Show. We do it daily, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So check that out. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot. So I'm going to bring on Joel and Mason. We're going to talk about maybe what we're reading or, a few other things. Hey, guys. What's up?
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hello. So what are you guys reading? I know we were talking about it beforehand. And
I picked up a book that I haven't read yet, that I've put down like at least 3 times, and I figured it'd be good to pick it up.
Yeah.
A friend of mine sent it to me a while back.
Is it good? Is it good? Is it just a funny
It's
book?
it's actually good. It's a life perspective book, but which is not usually my thing, but he's got a pretty good sense of humor, and the title represents pretty well. So we'll see. We'll see if I get through it this time. I got more time.
I don't take you as somebody who really needs that lesson. You can kind of turn that on or off sometimes.
Maybe outwardly.
Fair enough.
Maybe I need to learn how to do it better inwardly. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I expect a 10-page report next week.
Excellent.
Okay.
I'll hold the pages up one by one.
Mason, you were reading something cool too. What are you reading?
Well, I haven't started it yet. I just got it today. I asked my sister for a book to read, and she gave me this one.
Collapse by Jared Diamond. And it's how the whole world is just falling apart.
Well, it's about how different systems collapse and why.
Mm-hmm.
Like capitalism, because.
Well, yeah, it's history. Like it starts out talking about these dairy farms, and I haven't really gotten that far into it.
All right.
But it's the same guy that wrote Germs and Guns and Steel or whatever, and so
right.
He's a good. I enjoyed that other book, so this might be good.
That one's a more well-rounded view of history, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Not so much just the American educational system history that we mostly learn. I too haven't read mine, but I got it just this week. I subscribed to Adbusters. Oh, it's a little shiny. It's a magazine that, like, they had stuff to do with Occupy Wall Street, and it's oddly a brand about not branding or being against branding. I call it a little bit more to the left than socialism, maybe. But it's a fun magazine. They want to take down the power structures. Yeah, so this is their newest issue. We'll see. It's all about the mental liberation front. Take back our mental space force. Take back our mental space by force.
Kill your TV.
I like Mental Space Force better.
Yeah. Space Force. I heard about a new Steve Carell show about the Space Force. It's sort of Office meets Space Force, and he's like a little commander or something. It's going to be on Netflix. I don't know. That wasn't a good segue.
They snuck it in before the collapse.
I guess. I don't know. Or maybe they're just starting it. I don't know. Do either of you have HBO? Do you watch Avenue 6?
I started it, and I now am going to go back to it. I haven't. I got to the first 2 episodes and then got distracted.
Yeah. It seems mediocre, but I'm still watching it.
I liked when I was watching it. It didn't grab me. I like what's his name, the main character, the
Hugh Laurie.
captain of the ship. Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. So
Yeah, he's always been good.
he holds my interest, even if the story doesn't. So
Yeah.
I'll give it another shot.
And I normally loved Josh Gad. He was in Book of Mormon on
Mhm.
Broadway, and he plays Olaf on
Mhm.
Frozen. There we go. But I'm not sure I like this character. But I think it might be just the character himself, right? Not
Kind of
his
not supposed
portrayal.
to.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
Cool. I forgot to mention today's guest, Melinda Hickey, used to work at the Tom Douglas Group, is going to talk about her experience and what's going on now. Tomorrow, I still got to confirm that the time is okay with him, but Matt Giles is going to be on that show with Matt Giles. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm super stoked. Once again, thanks for joining me every day here, Mason and Joel. You can check out Mason at 4 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Although this Friday we're doing it at 7. For
Yeah,
Tim's
7
Live.
o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you know the bands yet?
I didn't look.
Yeah. Matt O'Toole books the bands for us, so we don't always have it.
It'd be a pretty good show. I could look it up.
Yeah, they just keep getting better and better, I think. So it's worth watching. Next week I confirm.
Yesterday's was great.
Oh,
especially that last band, that couple up in Idaho.
Yeah, they were good.
They were. It was good music, and they were funny.
Yeah, they had some nice banter in between.
Yeah.
Which was fun.
Oh yeah, tomorrow's my friend Parzival's album release show. He was supposed to be doing his album releases, and we're doing it online now. He's got a couple of people that are going to be playing a show with him too, so that's going to be a really good one. He's awesome. Parz is great.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm getting to know so many new artists, which is great. One person we should try and book is Naveed Elliott. That guy, I love that guy.
Yeah, he played Tim's.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I filmed him once. And he sang that song Brutus, and it was awesome. I'm just putting out my vote. Maybe I'll talk to Matt. Next week, we got Don Darrell Riviera, who plays Iago in Aladdin on Broadway. He's going to be here Monday. And then we're still trying to finalize some guests for the rest of the week. But they'll be great. So come, check it out. You guys want to talk to Melinda?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring her on. Hello. How you doing?
Hello. How are you guys?
You good?
Good. Yeah. Just trying to make it through, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's weird. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It's apt.
Yeah.
So Joel told me a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
Oh. No, I was just gonna ask if anybody still has a job.
No. Joel,
This is our job now.
this is, yeah.
I like it.
It doesn't pay as well, but we weren't getting paid that much anyway, so it's okay.
Right.
Yeah, Joel and I worked together at the theater, and they had to lay off about 100 people. So we're off. And in theory, we're back next season, but we don't know when that starts or how that's going to go. And
Yeah.
Mason, you own a bar that is around, and we're doing those live shows with musicians every night, but you're not selling booze or making money or...
We're not selling any booze, and honestly, I don't really see them allowing us to have live music again. I mean, they're not going to let anybody crowd into a room of 50 people.
Not for a
Right.
while.
I don't know what's going to happen. Not for a little while. I don't know what's going to happen.
So
It's
we're
weird,
going to just
right?
have to start.
Go ahead. No, it's just weird. It's weird for like just having something that you thought was your career forever and that you could always go back to, you know, like front of house, back of house, people like you that own bars or venues, and then just having that just gone, you know, like, and not having any idea of what it's going to look like in the future going forward, you know, like.
Yeah, and no timeline, so you don't know how long it's going to be this way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So where were you?
You can't have a restaurant that only like 10 people in the house at any given. I mean, it just doesn't.
No.
You barely
Yeah.
restaurants. I mean, it's very obvious. Restaurants could barely pay their bills. I mean, all of us were, swinging by a thread. Could barely pay our bills when we were packed all the time. So now, how are you going
Right.
to pay your bills? If I was over capacity, yeah, I was paying the bills, but I wasn't making any money. And now you can only have 10 people. If they only let you have 5 or 10 people, how's anybody gonna? It's not gonna work.
No.
No.
No, it's crazy. And so it's I think that's the biggest thing, I haven't worked since the end of February, since like February 26th or something like that. And I can't imagine that even a third or a quarter of these establishments are going to be able to reopen, and with Tom Douglas, where I worked at Carlisle and I worked at Palace Kitchen. That's 850 people right there, with
Yeah.
Wow.
And how did they
no
do? Did they handle that okay?
I mean, yes, I'm glad that we all got laid off before the government shut everybody down. We got laid off on the 15th, and then that following Sunday was when Inslee shut everything down. That went into effect on Monday. So I at least had a little bit more time to kind of mentally get over it, but it was handled okay. I mean, it was handled as best as it could be. I'm glad that they that Tom shut us down instead of the government having to do it.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, and you didn't miss anything, honestly. That first 2 weeks in March, I mean, you just watched, business drop off like 20% a day until it was almost all the way gone, and then we were closed. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was a lucrative 2 weeks and then an abrupt stop. It fizzled out right about when you said your last day, end of February, early March. It was already fizzling out.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how restaurants were all of this year, though. I mean, that's the other thing is that restaurant, at least, in my kind of establishments, with that sort of front of house, sit down, dining kind of stuff was already on the way out in Seattle. So, there's that. You already had a decline of all the restaurants here, an oversaturation and a changing culture. And now it's just fucking starting over at ground zero. It's crazy to
Yeah.
me. Like how is it gonna look going forward? What is there gonna even be a front of the house anymore? Is there gonna be a floor where people can go in and eat? Are you gonna be able to have live music places? Like it just changes the face of all of this kind of industry and hospitality forever. I feel
Yeah.
like.
That's surprising to hear about
Yeah.
Tom Douglas because he is such a personality and well-known chef, right? So even somebody that popular having that much trouble is surprising, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that people understand how
Well, that's just the
tough
nature
it
of the
is.
restaurant business. I mean, it's we've talked about this before. It's just you you can have a restaurant that makes $20,000 a night, but you're 19,600 to make that $20,000 and pay everybody. And so
Right.
at the end of the day, restaurants lucky to make 5%. Like if you own a place, you're lucky to make 5% of your total sales by the time you pay everybody.
Right.
And and
Right.
that's normal, but like in Arizona, you pay people $2 an hour. Here you gotta pay people $13.50 this year,
Yeah, Tom
and
might have even been more, right? Because he's
rent
bigger.
and insurance is all very expensive. And so, like at the end of the day, a lot of places just can't afford to have nice restaurants. You just can't.
Hmm.
You have to charge too much for the food. People are like, well, why does it cost $30 to go out to eat in Seattle? Well, it's because it costs that much. I mean, we had just raised our prices at Tim's, and like I said, I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't pulling up to work in my Roddy.
Right.
No, I've seen his car.
I
So
was bartending 4 nights a week, so
yeah,
it was like,
Yeah.
and Tim's was a busy place. We were packed.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So Melinda, did you find a different? You said you worked at two different places, and I don't know what other businesses were nearby. But Joel had earlier brought up the fact that like if you're kind of across from a big venue that brings in people, you might get more people, and so when they shut, that sort of takes your clientele down. Did you notice that
Right.
happening where you were?
Well, definitely. I mean, the Carlisle room was kitty corner from the Paramount Theater, so it was just a lot of anything that was any Broadway show that came through, any band that came through, we were busy. But again, when the theater was dark, like if it was an off night, even before shit started getting canceled, we were slow, like this is not a fine dining city, coming from San Francisco. I thought that the food and beverage culture was going to be a lot different here. And, it is so just young and tech heavy that people, they want fast service. They want fast casual. They want to be able to get their food on Uber Eats. They want,
Yeah.
the restaurants that are now providing takeout service that didn't do it before because they're just trying to keep, 5 people employed in the restaurant. That's the kind of service that I feel like this eating culture in this city is leaning towards, or has always been leaning towards in the last couple of years at least. I think the days of that whole sit down, get a bottle of wine, that's by the wayside. And especially coming out of quarantine, nobody's going to want to go out to an intimate dinner with their significant other. They're going to want like a big group of people,
Right.
That's interesting. That's an interesting point. The social aspect is, I think I think the Seattle kind of craves that social release. I mean, we hibernate for 7 months, and
It's true.
the minute the sun comes out, everybody is out on the streets. And I think that sort of mentality is going to be very apparent once gatherings are allowed. You're not going to see people. Exactly what you say. You're not going to see people like just huddling in pairs anymore. We're going to be sick of each other. For all those people who are in pairs right now and sheltering in place, they're probably going to get away from each other at least a couple nights a week. Yeah. Where were you seeing the culture going food wise? I mean, other than the fine dining. I mean, did you see it? Because there's a few restaurants that have come out that are like super high rated, but smaller. And I'm blanking on the gentleman's name who's got the soul food place sort of down by the lake. But they seem smaller, yet still providing a very high level of food. Is that ring true? Like smaller environments, more affordable environments.
I think so. And I think that, again, that business model is going to have to change. It's not going to be a 125 seat 4 top restaurant. I think it'll be a lot of, it'll be interesting. I don't know. It will be interesting if it's, collective people in a space trying to put out, what they do individually and utilize a bigger space. Because that's the other thing. You've got these huge restaurant spaces, and there's no way in hell anybody is going to open up a restaurant in them. Right. That's already happening. So I'm thinking that it might be more, like you said, smaller houses, smaller seats, putting out a high quality product that can go for takeout, because clearly that's the wave of the future. I mean, fucking Canlis is doing takeout.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier this week. You got to cook it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of cooking shit myself. It'll be interesting. I think it's definitely gonna. You have to think not just bigger picture here, but bigger picture everywhere. And it's. Unfortunately, I think it's just going to put a lot of fucking little people out of business. And the big people, obviously, too. Tom Douglas is out of business and has to over, I don't know. I think it will be much smaller houses, and I think more kind of collective groups of people who are now at house being like, okay, what's next? Do we do restaurants? Do we do pop-up? Do we do, to go only? Like, who knows what this is going to look like on the flip side? Who knows when we're going to be able to do this? A month from now, 2 months from now, 6 months from now? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with Mason. I don't see them letting big groups of people in for months. Yeah.
No. As much as I want to hang out with a big group of people, I also don't want to hang out with a big group of people, So.
Yeah. At the same time, when it is lifted, though, there's still people. Mason, you were talking about this yesterday. There's still people going out more than they should, and I see photos online of like younger kids hanging out in parks in groups of 12 or 15, right? So when things open that people are going to be really excited to get out and do stuff, but I don't know if they're going to have the resources, right? Because we'll all have been unemployed, or a lot of us will have been unemployed for a while.
Yeah, I was reading today. Somebody in one of the business groups I was in was asking on Facebook, said, okay, well, we're going to get our payment protection loan, so we're going to bring our employees back to work. But what's the protocol to doing that? Are you guys, checking their temperatures? Are you making sure they were quarantined? Like, what's the protocol on bringing people back to work?
Right.
Mhm.
Or do you just have
If
them all work
if
from
you've
home?
had no contact with people for 14 days, well, then, you're pretty much in the clear. Well, I guess, I don't know.
Well, until you
They
start
need to,
running into people again. Yeah.
Right.
it's going to be a strip. I swear, you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to lick the strip, and then you're going to go have your coffee, and you're going to come back 30 minutes later, and it's going to be red or it's going to be green. And if it's green, you can go. And if it's red, you got to call the hospital.
Oh man.
I would sort of welcome that at this point.
Yeah.
The lack of knowledge that we have right now is frightening and tragic. It's like it's just knowing where you stand in this event would help a lot of people behave differently. I think just some would take it more seriously. Some would be able to breathe a little bit. I mean, it would work on both sides of the fence. But and having something reliable and not $2,000, not a trip to the toxic environment that a hospital really is.
Yeah.
It's it's too intimidating. It's too scary, and it's not available. That's really the key of it. It's like it's just not available.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Is there anything else we should have asked, Melinda?
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. What are you guys making for dinner? Because I'm all out of fucking ideas.
That's a good question.
I ran out
don't
of
know.
time yesterday. I told Mason this, but I think I'm going to try and make a quiche. But we don't have any
Ooh.
pre-made pie crust, so I got to learn how to make a pie crust, and then I'm going to make quiche.
Yeah.
Yeah, breakfast for dinner. Make
Yeah.
biscuits and gravy.
Oh yeah, that could
Nice.
be
Nice.
good.
I did that 2 nights ago. It was a frittata, so a quiche without crust. I wish I had the crust now.
I'm all about the carbs.
Yeah, carbs are good.
Mountains of potatoes and mashed potatoes and macaroni salads and bread. We're just eating nonstop carb fest over here.
Taco
And I need to get
Tuesday.
rid of some eggs because we've got some chickens making eggs for us.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
I'm so jealous.
Are they dropping eggs right now? Have they
yeah,
started?
no, they're still laying.
Oh wow! Did they lay through the winter?
They did. It slowed,
Oh,
but we still
yeah.
got them all through the winter. Yeah.
Oh,
They're young still too, so
cool.
more or less layers. What had you been making, Melinda?
I made pot roast. I've made 2 roast chickens and 2 batches of chicken stock. We made chicken tacos with leftover chicken. I have a quarantine buddy. My neighbor lives down the street, so we can cook, and then I can go to her place and then come back and pretend like I haven't been here all day. So it's good. We made soup with. It's just one of those like vertically integrated thing. It's like roast the chicken, make shit with the chicken meat, make the stock, make something with the stock. I have like 3 things of stock in my freezer. I'm gonna make veggie stock. What else do we have? A lot of breakfast, a lot of egg sandwiches.
Oh yeah.
So many egg sandwiches. Yeah.
So many egg sandwiches. I like cooking and I'm just over it.
That's fair. Yeah.
So it's so true. I was like, I was kind of like in a flurry at the beginning, and I was really digging it. And then now the conversation happens every day. It's like, hey, what's for dinner? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
How about leftovers?
I
am also way more serious about eating leftovers than I have been in the past. I feel like a much stronger desire to not waste anything, which is because it's just, and it's not so much that I feel like the food sources are going to run out, but the effort to go get food is so high now.
Yeah.
I'm the only one in the house that has left the house and gone to the store and come back.
That's good to only have one person doing it.
And I'm trying to like actually stretch that time out further and further.
Yeah, that's what we're doing too.
But, if anybody's tried to use Amazon, it's not easy right now. You go to click buy on your cart, and it's like, select your date. Monday, not available. Tuesday, not available. Wednesday, not available. Try back later.
Yeah.
There's not even like a buy and just wait for it to show up. You can't even just like put it in the queue. They're just like, no. Try again later.
Amazon Fresh or produce or whatever? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like all that store stuff.
I feel bad about ordering shit from Amazon just in general because like because I feel bad. Those people are working, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to also with that just try and not just default to that for like, oh, I need a fucking sink drain holder thing, It's just because I feel bad about all those people too.
Yeah, it's weird. It's walking a balance between keeping people employed and not endangering them, right? And like where you feel about that day to day, it's tough.
I have to have a little bit of faith in the people's self-preservation. A lot of these people need the maybe they don't qualify for as much unemployment as some of us do who had like a steady gig. If you were working a bunch of part-time jobs, your numbers don't show up the same.
Sure.
So maybe they don't. Maybe they have to. Maybe it's just more lucrative for them. And I just hope that they are all doing their best. Like when they showed, like the guy showed up. So my window that showed up yesterday was from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Ooh.
That was it was for that alone was brutal. And the guy showed up. Yeah, and he had like a mask on and he had gloves on, and I was just like, "Hey man, you stay healthy." I was like standing halfway up my staircase, like giving him a wide berth, and I was just like, super thankful that he was out there doing it. But dude, like, so late. And granted, that was the last window. There was no one available.
That's good. No overnight.
No, but can you imagine? Such a grind.
I couldn't.
I was like, all right. I had like deep sympathy, and I was really grateful that he dropped stuff off because that means that's just like I get to extend my window of time where I'm going out and surrounding myself with people that aren't behaving properly.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it gets me. I was like, people stand too close to me while I'm looking at the beer in the beer aisle, and I'm like, dude, just give me a little bit of space. When you pass by me, walk a little bit faster. Anything. It's just a weird time to be. Like my mental presence is way different out in public than it used to be.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
cool. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. I appreciate having you on. I'm glad it finally worked out. Sorry it was tough last week, but thanks again for coming.
Technology.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Be safe.
Thanks.
Don't let people touch you.
Yeah.
If you don't hang up, we'll say goodbye in a second.
Yeah. You can stay online and we'll talk a little bit afterwards.
Okay. What do you mean?
Yeah, that was interesting. It was good to hear from her.
It was good. I like the perspective. The restaurant industry, Mason talked about it a lot, but I didn't really think about the food culture very much.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm excited and pumped about tomorrow. Matt Giles is going to be on, and then it should be good. I think he's excited. He's a great guy. And then Monday we're gonna have Don Darrell Riviera from Aladdin on Broadway, and then we'll figure it out for the next 4 days after that. Cool.
Yep. Chupa's involved. Chupa's down.
Oh, is he? Sweet.
Yep.
So we might have a educator from Arizona, nicknamed Chupa. I'm sure he's happy. I'm telling all our viewers that.
Oh, you okay?
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
See you tomorrow, everybody. Bye.